Trigger warning: this video contains bruised eye.
This is where my journey begins, and I have two eyes. I used to work, I used to go out, and I used to work a bit more. This scan was taken in April 2018. As you can see, the tumour is right behind my eye, squeezed into the cone of the eye socket, and is slowly pushing out the muscles and the eyeball itself. So originally it was thought that it was just benign, but we now know that it was cancerous. I found that video of me talking before I had the tracheostomy. Here is me going into surgery for the biopsy operation. They put an arrow over the eye to make sure the surgeon knows which one is operating on. This is me after the eye biopsy operation, and as you can see, my eye was very swelled. One way to reduce the swelling was to put ice on it, which the nurses put in surgical gloves. At this stage, the doctor didn't think it was cancer, and it was just a biopsy operation. And the doctor did think it might be a blister at the back of my eye. So at this stage, they were doing everything they could to save the eye. When I first woke up, I had no vision in it, but slowly over the next few days, the doctors pumped me with all sorts of drugs, and thankfully some vision started to come back. Because at this stage, I thought that I would need the eye forever, and once the swelling had gone down, everything would be fine and my vision would go back to normal, and I'd just carry on with two eyes. In this video it shows you me training my eye, and it's part of the exercise with your eye for it to follow your good eye. So I was doing it up and down and left and right, thinking that actually this was a good sign because the eye was recovering and the eye was moving, albeit very swollen, but it was showing good signs of recovery. The biopsy operation was where the surgeon went in behind my eye with the idea of getting a little bit of the tumour and sending it off for testing. However, when he got in there, he tried to cut a little bit off and it all exploded. It was a bit like a balloon filled with flour. So while he was in there, he decided to get more. So he left about 5% because the tumour was growing off my optic nerve. Then after 5 days of trying to save my eye, I got the dread news it was cancer, and I already knew that the eye would have to be removed. So at this point, all the drugs stopped because obviously it was a waste, and a lot of the tests on the eye stopped. It didn't really matter if the vision came back because the eye was going to be removed. It was a rare cancer that I was the only person in England that had, and they were quite scared because they had no chemotherapy drugs or anything they could give me. Maybe radiation would work, and if it had spread to my lungs already, it would be game over because they wouldn't be able to do anything at that point. If it had already spread, then chances are it could spread to other parts of the body, and there was no way to treat it. So my children had a few days off. Basically it was to make memories with the children, because at this stage they didn't know if it had spread because I had not had the PET scan yet, and they also worried about the tumour exploding when I had the biopsy operation, which potentially meant it could spread to the rest of my face. So here we are at Legoland. I was going to get the Death Star Lego for my son, but it wasn't in stock anymore. It was discontinued, which was a shame because when it first came out he was too young, and then when he was old enough it wasn't available anymore. During these holidays I did only use my one eye because the eye that had been operated on still wasn't working very well, and at this point I knew the eye was going to come out, so there wasn't any point trying to make it work, and I needed to concentrate on having a good time with the children, making memories for them, because at this point there was still that good chance that I could actually die. So we went to Legoland and we just did a few things in England that we wanted to do. I couldn't fly because I just had the operation and it was still hurting, and to be honest I didn't want to be away, and it was kind of all last minute, so it would have cost thousands to go away and book and things. So it was just go do a few things in the UK that we wanted to do and make some good memories for the kids. They brought me my first ever eye patch from Legoland. It was a pirate one and it was very uncomfy, but they liked it, so I played along. Even though we didn't have much time before my eye was going to come out, we had a really wonderful time at Legoland, doing things that the children wanted to do. We went on all the rides and it was a nice day. To say it was in England, it was quite nice, quite sunny. We took lots of pictures, we took lots of videos, so if anything did happen, at least they would have the memories of that, and hopefully they'd be able to look back and see that we all had a good time and how happy we all were together. For anyone having a life-threatening illness, it is horrible, but then to add children into it makes it feel a lot worse, because you can't help what happens to you, but you don't want to put that on your children. So we went out and had a few nice days out together, which they can look back on at the pictures, at the videos, and they will see how happy we were. As you can see, over a few weeks the eye swelling went down and it started to look normal, and it also started to go back into place and line up, even though I was a bit like a pigeon. I could see it round the back of my head, which was very strange. So I had to keep the sunglasses on and keep my eye covered up because I could see two different visions. Something that was on my bucket list was Stonehenge. I've always wanted to go, and I thought I need to go see it while I have two eyes. And wow, it did not disappoint. We went on the inner circle in the morning and it was just majestic. It was foggy, you could not see anything but the stones. It was absolutely wonderful. There is a motorway nearby it, but because it was so foggy, all you could see was the stones. It was like nothing else existed. It was wonderful. I can't describe it. It was something I wanted to do. It was just the one place I wanted to see before I had my eye taken away. Part of me now does think I would like to go back, because I'd like pictures of me without the eye, and to know that 5 years later here I am, I'm still here. Yes, I don't have an eye, but that really isn't a big issue like I thought it would be. And if only I knew then what I knew now. Maybe the stones were telling me everything would be okay. Because I had the Fulman MS stack and I was paralysed, it would just be wonderful to go there now and be able to walk around it, whereas at one point I was told I'd never walk again. In fact, I was told I was going to die on more than one occasion because of the Fulman MS. And here I am. It's just amazing. It's just absolutely wonderful to still be here. Although part of me does think, tick that one off, you've done it, and let's move on to something else now, because there are so many places that I want to see and I want to explore and show others with one eye that they can do it too, and to keep going, because it really isn't as bad as you might think it would be. In fact, it's no different than having two eyes. Here are my children again, having a good time, and hopefully they would just enjoy being together and being with me for that time, because at this point I really didn't know what would happen. So I planned for the worst but hoped for the best. And in the meantime, I just went out and had a few nice days with the kids. Which also cost me a fortune because I swear that lollipop cost me £5 and 2p. So we just went and had a few days out and really enjoyed ourselves. And because it was in term time, it wasn't busy anywhere and the weather was nice. It was near enough summer. So we just went out and enjoyed ourselves. So here we went to Cleethorpes because Cleethorpes Beach was nearest and it was a quick day out. A lot of these days out were just quick days that are nearby that weren't too expensive because it was all last minute and obviously I had a lot in between to do, so it was just grab a few days here and there where we could and enjoy being together, and that was the main thing. I actually went back to Cleethorpes in the middle of the night with my best friend because I wanted to spend some time with her and obviously to make memories with her just in case. What a memory we made going out in the middle of the night, being crazy and just living. About a week before I had my eye removed, I packed up all our house and our belongings and I sold it, ready for in case anything did happen to me and the kids would then just have the money. Nobody would have to deal with selling my house. The making memories continued, and here we are at the water park at Alton Towers. Now I did want to stay overnight because they have some wonderful themed rooms, but because it was short notice and things we couldn't, so I did plan to go back again and rebook it, but obviously I was paralysed, so we didn't quite make it and I've never done it since. For our last day out, we went to Belton House and we had a lovely time. We went in the gardens and we then had a look all around the house. There's also a playground, we went on that and the kids really enjoyed that. And they also had like a miniature train. The kids went on that a few times. It was just a nice day out. And again, we got lots of pictures and we got lots of videos ready for the day after when I would finally lose my eye. I will do another video from when I lost my eye to the radiation. Voice is starting to get a bit croaky now, so I kind of need to rest it for a bit. So I promise I will do the next video soon.